Hey, what's going on YouTube? If you haven't been following along, you could check out the playlist that this video will be in. I had recently lost my Homelab and I'm starting over and trying to make it better than ever. Now, going forward, I'm going to be trying to deploy my entire Homelab out of Kubernetes. Some of that will be in a standalone server, but in this case, I'm going to deploy a lot of my microservices or applications within a Kubernetes cluster. And I'm at the point now where I'm finally spinning up the nodes and I'm going to do some testing, spinning up our first pod, and that's going to be what today's video covers. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright, so if none of this makes sense, definitely check out the other videos in this playlist, as I am recording this entire process of deploying this new Homelab inside of Kubernetes. Now with that being said, I have two virtual machines inside of our Proxmox cluster, and in this case, this is going to be the control node or the control plane, and I already SSH into it and I pulled it down our Git repository. The main reason why is because we are trying to use GitOps and Git as much as possible. So I did this recently. I had built a playbook for deploying these or provisioning these two resources. You can read this. I will attach it to the description below inside of a GitHub repository just for you to use on your own lab. But in this case, I'm not going to go over it line by line, but essentially what it does is it sets up some of the bare bones, like such as a host name, updates the etc, the host file, the kernel modules that are needed for K8s, some packages, default packages, container, install kubectl, kubeadm, and a few others. And it's going to do that for the worker host that I specify inside of the inventory, and then it's going to also do it for the control host that I specify. This one also has a few more things. In addition to getting those repositories or those packages, here at the bottom, we have some additional settings that get configured inside of this playbook. All right, and part of the deployment of these virtual machines, I already have Ansible installed. So we're going to run Ansible-playbook. We're going to specify the inventory file, which I could talk about in a minute, and that just kind of breaks down the IP addresses that you want to hit within the workers or the control. And then we're going to specify the playbook, and we're going to let that play out. All right, so as you can see, the playbook has completed. You can see that we have 23 to OK status, 19, and then we changed 18 and 14, and it gives you a status of each of the plays inside of that playbook. So now if we spin up, again, we're on the control node, so if we go ahead and run kubectl, get nodes, you should see that we now are in the ready status for the control plane. And now we're going to go ahead and actually link the worker node, which is another virtual machine inside of Proxmox, to this control plane. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and spin up our first pod for testing. And I should say before all of this, like I said in the other videos, is that I made networking work and everything works so the two virtual machines are able to communicate with one another, and there's no restrictions there. And there's a few other prerequisites leading up into this video. Again, I definitely urge you to check that out. Here's a command that we're going to run and create a token allowing us to join that worker node to this control. And we're just essentially going to copy this and paste, but first we will SSH into that other node or other virtual machine. And what we can do actually, and I'll show you the inventory file. So let's go into Homelab, Ansible, inventory file. This is going to be the other, you could ignore these are just different tests that I had in other videos back in the day. But in this case, this one is the address that we're going to be looking at, which is going to be under the workers. And as you can see, this is our test user that we had defined previously for those that did watch that video. And then this is just the private key that I'm using, but you could use whatever you would like. And then you have the control, which is the local Ansible connection that we are using currently. Now we're just going to grab this IP address and we will log into it. All right, so now we have our two connections. We're going to go ahead and grab that command again, paste it right in here, and you're going to see that we're going to get an error. That is because we are not running sudo. And it looks like I actually didn't copy it all the way, so let's go back into here and make sure, we'll just rerun that command and just make sure we grab everything here, sudo. Now from the control, we go ahead and run that get nodes again. You can see that we now have one that is not ready, so we'll go ahead and stand by for that worker 01, which is this guy right here, and make sure that that comes up into the ready status. All right, so as you can see, we run kubectl, get nodes. We now have the control and the worker both in the ready status. In this case, it's saying roles for control plane, and this one is none. Next, what we want to do is we're just going to go ahead and spin up a web server essentially. So we're just going to create a deployment. We're going to use that image there. And now we're going to go ahead and just check on the pod. So kubectl. And as you can see, we now have a pod that is running. Here's the status here. Now what we need to do is if we want to access it from our local machine, we got to expose it. Since we're doing it right now, we go ahead and do it. Otherwise, we might need to patch it. So we're going to expose deployment at port 80. And then we're going to say the type is a node port. Now if we go ahead and run kubectl get service, we now have our service as a node port. Here's the cluster IP, and here is the port 80 and the exposed port 30,116. Now on our local machine, if we go ahead and try to hit that IP address, which is going to be the IP address of that virtual machine, and then with the exposed port 30,116, you should see a nice welcome message from the web server. And then you can do whatever you want within Kubernetes. So for example, if we want to kind of get an idea of what we just did with that web server, we go ahead, since we already know the pod name by doing kubectl get pods, we go ahead and do a describe, and we'll just go ahead and copy and paste this. Now it'll kind of give us an idea of what is running. As you can see, you got the name up here. Namespace is default, which is something that we're going to change going forward as we continue to deploy this stuff. Labels, service account, IP addresses. The containers obviously is going to be a big one, right? So we're using this image here that we specified. Here's the image ID, state, mounts, and you get the point. Now the point of this video was just to show you the test and show you the status of where we're at. Going forward, we're going to kind of dive even deeper and continue on this path of deploying this Homelab. We're going to use Argo for continuous deployment, continuous integration. We're going to make sure that we're sticking to GitOps, using everything within Git, use Flux. And then within Kubernetes, we're going to touch on like Istio and Hiberno and just a few other things to kind of make this as robust as possible, but also a Homelab that I could always tear down and bring back up. That's one of the most important things that I want to do with this Homelab, is that because I lost the last Homelab, I want to make sure that this Homelab is not able to just go away. I want to make sure I have backups and good documentation. I think at this point I am giving a good way forward for those that are following along, but I do also plan to do a recap to kind of talk about everything and talk about where we're at so far. But in this week's video, we spun up two pods, or we spun up one pod, spun up a control node, a worker node, and we just did some testing to make sure everything works. I showed you how to expose it using a node port. But other than that, that's going to close out today's video. In next week's video, we're probably going to dive a little bit deeper. But stay tuned. And as always, never stop learning.